And to introduce our next inductee, we have Larry Berra, the president of the San Francisco Giants.
Sounds like we have some Giants fans here, is that right? Everybody get their picture taken with the trophy? Trophy pictures, yeah. We had, we've been going some places and we bring the twins. We say we're going to bring the twins, and people don't understand. Is that, you know, Buster Posey had twins, they're bringing the twins. Sometimes we bring the 2010 trophy and the 2012 trophy together. Once in a while we do that, and it's a lot of joy. And the fans, it's for the fans because the fans have been so amazing filling this ballpark for the last 3 years. I see a lot of familiar faces of fans and also of sponsors, and I just want to thank all of you for all that you do at the Bay Area Council and all that you do to support the local institutions here. So thank you very much for the sponsorships of the Giants. The reason I'm here, and it's a great honor to be here for this reason, for this function, is to introduce one of our nation's most distinguished and generous business community leaders, and that's Charles Johnson. Charlie's accomplishments leading and growing Franklin Resources for parts of 6 decades, to become a premier global investment management organization, his achievements are legendary. He's well recognized and revered in the financial services industry and also just in American business. He's one of the great leaders of American business. He may not be a household name, but as I will describe, and you will see in the video, that's only because he does not seek the spotlight for himself. As Bay Area residents, we're very proud that he's led Franklin so successfully in our region for so long. And we are all the beneficiaries of Franklin's impact on our local economy. Perhaps less widely recognized is a chapter of Charlie's life which began almost exactly 20 years ago today. It was really November, December of 1992. The San Francisco Giants had signed a purchase agreement to relocate to Tampa and become the Tampa Bay Giants. Another member of the Business Hall of Fame, somebody you've heard referenced here tonight, Warren Hellman, and I placed a call to Charlie from Warren's office to try and solicit him as an investor to save the team for San Francisco. We were simply dialing for dollars at that point. We didn't have a business plan, only we had a desperate plea to save the team. Well, not only did Charlie agree to become a charter investor and join this community effort, he also directed us to a colleague at Franklin, Harmon Burns, who ultimately became the Giants' leading shareholder. With the very sad and unexpected passing of Harmon and his wife, Sue, Charlie acquired additional Giant shares, and he is now our largest shareholder. Similar to the day 20 years ago when Charlie took that call from us in Warren's office, his motivations around the Giants are clear and pure. Make it a civic asset. Run it responsibly. Take care of and empower your employees. Do not seek the limelight. And, oh, by the way, let's try and win. So the rest is history, and to those of us at the Giants, for his contributions to our organization, not only does Charlie, for all he's done at Franklin and for all he's done with the Giants, not only does he have a rightful place in the Business Hall of Fame, those of us at the Giants actually believe he's qualified, well qualified, for yet another Hall of Fame that's located in Cooperstown, New York. So we join Charlie's family, friends, and colleagues here tonight in congratulating him on tonight's wonderful honor. Now let's learn a little bit more about Mr. Charles Johnson.
My father, Rupert Johnson Sr., was known for being prudent, for being frugal. Those principles built his first brokerage firm in 1927, and those same principles have helped build Franklin Resources.
To him, it's not brilliance, it's common sense, it's persistence. He has a great ability to just focus on what's important and get right to the heart. I think that's just because he's a good listener, and he has a very open mind and tries to hear as many different opinions before he reaches a decision.
Well, I think we have a variety of investment managers with different skills, different viewpoints, some with global viewpoints, some with domestic viewpoints. And I think that all leads to investment success for the entire organization.
Charlie's had an enormous impact and influence on this industry as a whole. His focus on product innovation, distribution, marketing, and superior customer service has really been the cornerstones of the success of this industry over the years. He's one of a handful of first or second generation industry leaders who have helped to grow and develop this mutual fund industry into a global asset management industry, and it's just remarkable.
I think as you'll talk to Franklin Templeton employees, a place that people are proud to work and to be a part of, and I think a lot of that does come down from who Charlie is. And I think if you talk to his peers across the organization, you'll get very similar views that this is somebody that has done a tremendous job over the long term and been very, focused on the firm's clients, and and I think that's something that certainly I'm very proud of.
When he talks about his success in building Franklin Templeton, what he'll say is, you know what, I worked hard and I had a lot of luck. And so he attributes it, and I had a lot of good people around me. I would think he's really good at identifying talent and crediting people with what they do, and recognizes it takes a whole team.
Like any successful person, there's somebody else with them helping, and it's a huge commitment building a company, and you can't be there for everything. And my mother, is an amazing woman, and they have an amazing marriage, and that's something that when I look at my parents, I admire that very much.
First and foremost, they are each other's best friends. Here he's building a business. She has 7 kids and wants to also do more. And he supports her to go back to college, and then ultimately she graduates from Stanford Medical School.
He's always had the right set of priorities. Never has let any of the success go to his head. I don't care if I'm talking to anybody at all different walks of life, the common theme, when they say, "Oh, I've met your dad, what a good guy." To me, that speaks volumes of how he treats people. And I think at the end of the day, that's the most important thing that I'm proud of.
The one thing with my dad that he's very thrifty. We were a big skiing family, so every weekend we'd go up and go skiing together. We had this big yellow Suburban. He would drive from one gas station to the next to save a penny or two, and he'd say, "Well, it adds up on 40 gallons." And we'd be in the car, going, "Let's just get home."
The first time I met Charlie was literally a civic effort to help save the Giants in 1992. Charlie was just a very affable, welcoming, low-key guy who is obviously had enormous achievements in the world of business, but had the time and the interest and the passion to get involved in a civic venture.
It was just the thought of losing the Giants, that got him involved.
Charlie Johnson, in many ways, has been the team's secret weapon. And he's somebody that, quite frankly, every Giants fan should be grateful to, because his commitment has been invaluable in making sure that the franchise stays here, gets the ballpark built, and has resources to be competitive in the future.
And the Giants have won the World Series in Detroit. And the celebration begins as the Giants mob the mound.
He feels like anyone who's been successful that it's your responsibility to give back.
He hosts a party every year where we bring a player or a former player and Lucille, and he treats low-income children to an experience with the Giants. And that's the kind of person he is, and that's what he represents, and that's what I think he sees the Giants as being.
Mr. and Mrs. Johnson are absolute advocates of the arts, of education, of the underprivileged, and you see that in all of what they do.
I think the other side, it comes back to his privacy and not feeling like that's something he needs to talk about. That's not his style. That's not what they tend to do. So the two areas where they've been the most active is in education and hospitals.
The thing that Franklin Templeton focuses on is the long term. If investors take a long-term viewpoint, they will come out well.
He's been able to build this business from a small, fledgling mutual fund company located 20 miles south of San Francisco to a global asset management firm that manages $750 billion for investors worldwide. And I think the manner in which he has built this business speaks volumes about him. It's something that I'm proud of, and I know that the other 9,000 employees worldwide from Franklin Templeton are proud to say that they work here at this firm and for him.
When something gets in his mind, he will see it through to the end. And to him and to me, I think that's been the most valuable lesson, is that just keep on grinding, be persistent, and that's really the number one value, I think, that has made Charlie successful.
Growing up, I was a huge Star Trek fan, and I loved Captain Kirk because Captain Kirk, no matter what, he always got into some sticky situation, but Captain Kirk always got you out of the sticky situation.
Scotty, give me that power. You've got it, Captain. Just enough to move us. I can do better.
And I always used to think, Captain Kirk's like my dad. My dad's like that, and he's my Captain Kirk.
Charlie, I think they like you. And it's with great pleasure that we induct you into our Bay Area Business Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll hold this for you.
Well, if you'll bear with me just a second, I have some notes on my address here that I'd just like to... Just a second, I'm sorry. Yeah, here's my address. Is 1 Franklin Parkway, San Mateo, California, 94304. So, at any rate, seriously, I appreciate the honor. It's a thrill when I look at the distinguished past honorees to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Of course, something like that. I started out in 1957 with 1 employee in an office of about 250 square feet. And today we have over 8,000 employees worldwide. But there's a lot more that went into that, from tremendous people and tremendous contributions than myself. And I'd like to first mention my wife, Ann, who's sitting here. Ann, stand up. She's been a terrific supporter and backer of me and Franklin. In fact, in that 250 square foot office, she made the curtains, and decorated the other things. So she's been very active. Secondly, I'd like to mention my brother Rupert, who's over here. Stand up, Rupert. Rupert's been a great partner for almost 50 years and has been a great contributor to all facets of the business and our growth. And lastly, I'd like to particularly mention Harmon Burns, who Larry mentioned and was a big part of our growth. Harmon joined our organization when we had 40 employees, and he fast became one of our leaders. Rupert and he and I would discuss everything that was going to happen, and Harmon's judgment and fortitude and energy were really a great part in building our business. There are many, many other people, and many of them are here tonight. I'm not going to go through the list, but as you can imagine, there were a great many people who contributed to our success. I'm often asked by people about, you know, what do you attribute? How do you get successful in the world? And I like to tell them the story about the golfer who was teeing up his ball, and he took a big swing and he missed the ball completely, and he took a huge divot in an anthill, and there were dead ants all over the place. So he then tees it up, he backs off, he wipes the ants off his club, his driver. He gets up and takes another huge swing, and he hits the rest of the anthill, and there's just dead ants all over the place. Well, he's getting ready to hit again, and there's 2 ants that have survived this massacre, and they're kind of looking up, and the one ant says to the other, you know, if we're going to survive this, we're going to have to get on the ball. So my philosophy is you have to be on the ball all the time, and you got to persevere and persistently stay on the ball, because if you look the wrong way at the wrong time, you're going to miss out. But I thank you very much for this honor, and it's really, I appreciate your all being here tonight, and good luck to everybody. Let's hope the Giants are 3 for 4.